Hey, how's it going? It's Wednesday, July 7th. It's week 22. This week's topic is how do you identify as an entertainer? What are some terms or IDs that offend you? And does this make it harder for you to enter in pageants and other competitions? Um, to start out, right now, because I'm pre-op, I identify as a drag king. I feel that because I still have to tape down my chest and apply some facial hair, not all facial hair, but I do have to apply some facial hair, that I consider myself as a drag king. Does that mess with my trans identity at the bar? Sometimes it does. Few people still will call me she, even though A, I'm in drag, which I've never liked, and B, because I'm a transgender man. Which is a little discouraging, but it happens. After transition, what will I identify as? Like after my operation, I'll identify as a male entertainer, but until then, I identify as a drag king. I don't really have any terms or IDs that offend me. However, I correct nicely for people who call me a lesbian or people who call me she. I'm like, no, I'm a transgender man. That means that my pronouns are he. I'm not a lesbian. I'm a straight man. So it makes things, I don't know, more complicated sometimes to identify as a transgender drag king than it does as a male entertainer. But for me, I'm a drag king still to this day. I don't know, it's just easier for me to identify as a drag king because I do still have to tape and I still have to apply some facial hair. It's just easier that way for me. As for the competition and the pageant, I was in recently, was in the Mr. Pride Youngstown pageant. And I didn't find it more difficult for me. I didn't find it easier for me either. It was actually my first pageant. Why did I pick to do a pageant while I'm transitioning? I don't know. Because it was just the first pageant I decided to do. But for me, being a drag king as a transgender man, I can still enter into pageants. If it comes to a point where I'm not binding anymore, like I'm not taping, I've had my surgery, then I probably won't enter into pageants. But until then, I enter into drag king pageants as a drag king because I still present as a drag king. So I think that's about it I have on this topic. But again, on the offense thing, I don't get offended when people like come and see me as a drag king. I don't think anybody really sees me as a male entertainer like right now at this point, because I don't believe too many people like realize that I'm transitioning. And if they do, they kind of just let it leave their mind when I'm in drag. So I don't know, it's different for everybody. For me, I'm a drag king, and right now I'm seen more as a drag king than a male entertainer, so it makes it kind of easier for me. That's about all I have on this week's topic. Next week, which is week 23, it's user emailed question, which is new for us, so I'm excited to answer a question from somebody outside of the channel. And it's, when do you think Ohio is going to allow gender markers changed on birth certificates? Do you ever think it's going to happen or no? Also, do you think it would make being an STM easier, as in being able to legally marry in Ohio and sign a birth certificate as a father? That's one I actually have some information about, that I've had to research a little bit, so I'll talk about that next week. However, the 2 weeks after that, I'm actually going to be on vacation and not have access to a computer. So I'll update on those on week 26. Just to let you all know in advance what's going on. So, but that's that. Keep an eye on the channel, as always, and I look forward to hearing from everybody on this topic, as well as every other. So, I'll see you all next week.